Director at Priests for Life, here with your pro-life news break. A Texas man who works for the Justice Department has been arrested and charged with capital murder after allegedly giving his pregnant girlfriend abortion drugs without her knowledge and killing their baby. 38-year-old Justin Anthony Banta was arrested last Friday following a 6-month investigation into the cause of the baby's death. In September 2024, Banta's then-girlfriend told him she was pregnant. Banta, who was married to another woman, said he would pay for an abortion and suggested they look into obtaining drugs for a chemical abortion. The mom had other plans. She wanted her baby. An ultrasound at 6 weeks found the baby had a strong heartbeat and good vital signs. Later that same day, the woman believes Banta put the drug into her coffee without her knowledge, and authorities say video from the coffee shop where they met shows him pouring something into a cup and stirring it with a straw, then going to his car to fetch a plate of homemade cookies. Heavy bleeding sent the woman to the emergency room the next day, and her baby died on October 19th. In Pennsylvania, a Lancaster County mother and daughter are facing charges after what officials describe as a botched at-home chemical abortion. 50-year-old Shannon Jones and her then 17-year-old daughter are not charged for the abortion itself, but for allegedly concealing the death of a newborn and abusing the body after the fact. The teen is believed to have been 20 weeks pregnant when her mother allegedly ordered abortion pills online, even though chemical abortions are not supposed to take place after 10 weeks. The newborn's remains were reportedly hidden for several days before being buried in the family's backyard. Shannon Jones was charged with endangering the welfare of children, corruption of minors, and criminal conspiracy to conceal the death of a child. Her daughter faces charges of concealing the death of a child and abuse of a corpse. The House Judiciary Committee on Tuesday voted 13-10 to advance legislation calling for the repeal of the FACE Act, a federal law used by the Biden administration to arrest and imprison pro-lifers. Texas Representative Chip Roy sponsored the bill that now will go to the full House for a vote. Priests for Life National Director Frank Pavone congratulated Roy and said, "I have been opposing the FACE law since it was first signed by Bill Clinton. A month later, when I was visiting Mother Teresa, now St. Teresa, in Calcutta, I told her about it, and she said that if a law like that existed in India, she would have been thrown into jail many times because she went to the places where abortions occurred and pulled the women away by the arm. If a law would have put St. Teresa in jail, it probably should not be a law." Utah Senator Mike Lee has introduced a companion bill in the Senate. President Trump in January pardoned the 23 pro-lifers who were convicted on FACE charges under the Biden administration. The Montana Supreme Court this week struck down 3 laws protecting babies from abortion that were passed by the state legislature in 2021. The laws, which have never been enforced following a challenge from Planned Parenthood, would protect babies from abortion after 20 weeks, require abortion sellers to ask mothers if they wanted to see their baby on ultrasound, and require 2 inpatient visits before a chemical abortion. Governor Greg Gianforte, who signed the 3 laws in 2021, said he will continue to defend the lives of those who cannot speak for themselves. This isn't surprising. A spokeswoman for the Montana Attorney General said after the ruling, "It's another rubber stamp for Planned Parenthood from their allies on the Montana Supreme Court." Last November, Montana voters approved a referendum to make abortion a constitutional right in the state. That goes into effect July 1st. A Gallup poll released this week on abortion attitudes revealed a slight increase in pro-life sentiment. Overall, 43% of respondents identified as pro-life, a 2 percentage point gain from last year's survey. There were also small gains in the percentage of people who thought abortion was, quote, morally wrong, and the percentage of people who thought abortion should either be illegal or legal in only a few circumstances. Most of the media coverage of the poll concerned the widening gender gap on abortion attitudes. The survey found that 61% of women identified as pro-choice compared to 41% of men. The Louisiana legislature on Tuesday passed a bill aimed at preventing out-of-state abortionists from prescribing deadly abortion drugs to women in the state. The Justice for Victims of Abortion Drug Dealers Act would allow pregnant women to sue those who illegally give them abortion drugs or try to perform an abortion on them. When doctors and pharmacies realize they could be civilly liable, then they'll stop sending the drugs here, said Representative Julie Emerson, a Republican who co-sponsored the bill. The United Nations Population Fund has a solution for the global fertility crisis: more abortion. A report that surveyed reproductive age adults in 14 countries, including the U.S., found that 39% of respondents said financial limitations are hampering their plans to have children, while another 19% said fears about what the future will bring mean they likely will have fewer children. While acknowledging that fertility has declined nearly catastrophically in the U.S. and other parts of the Western world and could lead to, quote, societies like we have never seen them before, The Population Fund said the real crisis is lack of reproductive autonomy, and the solution is more sex education in schools, better access to contraception and abortion, more adoptions by homosexual couples, access to assisted reproductive technology like IVF, and the dismantling of traditional gender norms. You may recall that earlier this year, President Trump cut off all U.S. funding to the UN Population Fund, saving taxpayers like you and me about $71 million. And finally, some good news from the United Kingdom. Premature twins born in Glasgow were given little chance to survive after being born at just 29 weeks, but a new cot introduced in the neonatal unit at Royal Children's Hospital might have helped boost their chances. Both sides of the cot can accommodate each twin's individual needs while also allowing easy access for parents and hospital staff without having to separate the babies. Marcus and Macy Lee were the first twins to use the cot, and they are now home from the hospital and thriving. Great-grandparents Yvonne and Peter Pryor are on a fundraising mission to ensure the neonatal unit can buy more twin cots to help other families. Yvonne says she is in awe of her wee miracles. That's some of what's making news this week. Thank you for tuning in. If you would like to keep up with our press releases and commentary, go to prolife.press or scan the barcode on your screen. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, but if you are a dad who is suffering after losing a child to abortion, help is available no matter what role you may have played. Go to abortionforgiveness.com to find a healing program near you. And please remember, always,